the knowledge, man, not necessarily the money. The money is just a tool.
What's good? What's good? What's good, trappers? It's your boy, man, the Wallstreet Trapper. Y'all know my goal is to help the culture build wealth one share at a time. Got my beautiful, amazing, talented, co-host, Queen Jamila. Oh, we're gonna just call her the bag lady from here on out.
All right.
You be in your bag. You be in your bag on us. You know what I'm saying? So, man, Re-Up Tuesdays has been getting a lot of game time. It's been getting a lot of play. I just want to know how you feel about it.
Honestly, when I hear the Trappers and Trappers Anonymous talk about how they're connecting the dots based upon the information we're dropping on Re-Up Tuesdays, that's all I need, because I know it's connecting for them. That's all I need.
Yeah. You know, it's all about the family. You know, the Trappers is the family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always amazing. I think what's happening here is we just giving them a lot of free game right here.
Absolutely.
Right? We just putting them on. I think that what we did last week was amazing. Just every week. And I think it just keeps getting better and better. The conversations getting better. The presentations are phenomenal. Let's put that out there, how phenomenal the presentations are. So that's amazing. And I just want to tell you, like right here again, I appreciate you just every week coming in, tapping in, knocking these down, like making it more clear. And I hope that people are paying attention. Right. One of the things that I hope people are doing is like going back, taking notes, seeing how important that this information is, right? Because these things are vital to us. And again, it's more than us just saying, pick this stock, pick that stock, right? We literally are saying, listen, this is the fishing rod, this is the worm. You put the worm on the hook, you reel it, you put it out there, you know what I'm saying? And I think that whole situation is just becoming so so dear for people to learn. I think what's happening now is we are literally like making this investing thing smooth and easy for people. So I definitely want to say, I just appreciate you. You know what I mean? So how you been? How your week been?
Been good, just tapped into the markets as usual. I mean, that's the fun part of the game. I think, to your point, we're making it easy for people to digest. But I think sometimes we also have to remember how much fun this actually can be, right? Because I really enjoy it. I love breaking down companies. I love looking at the markets, looking at how things affect the market. And I'm hoping everybody's feeling that too. I know we're in pursuit of financial wealth and turning our last name into an asset. That's the greater mission, but I think it's fun too, all at the same time. I've not had fun in my life, to be honest with you.
That's what makes this so amazing for me, is saying that we get joy out of it.
Yes.
Right? Like we get to give this, and it's not work. It's just what we do. Like when people realize, like, this is what we do like every day and talk about it. And so this is actually like people being in a group chat for us, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's love, right? Because we've all done other things in our life that we didn't quite enjoy it as much. Let's just be clear.
Do you have any crypto?
I do not have any crypto, but I have been reading up on blockchain. So I listen, Trap. I listen, but that Bitcoin, whoo.
That's what I'm like. So listen, what I did. I had like $5,000 in Bitcoin when it was around 19,000.
Okay.
It was around 19,000. I bought some more when it was about 25,000. And listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I have just been dumping it. Just been dumping it. I think I put like $10,000 in it when it was like 30.
Yeah.
It's going crazy. And I'm just, and here's why I look at it the way that I look at it. So I feel like in the beginning, I'm gonna say this is what made me buy into it this time. In the beginning, I understood the markets. I understood that we always go through these these changes in the economy where we use different things, right? But I think what happened to me this time was once I realized how much money they were putting into the markets, $2 trillion here, another $1 trillion here,
It's
$3
nothing.
trillion here, like that's a lot of money.
Right.
So what I started saying to myself was, okay, like this dollar not worth garbage right now. Right now. Will they ever pull away from it? Probably not.
The ego's too strong.
Too many people wealth attached to it.
Yeah.
But will they start when Tesla purchased 1.5 billion, and I said that he's going to now he's going to try to accept Bitcoin payments. For Teslas, I'm like, oh, this is a game changer. When they started saying PayPal and MasterCard, I said, oh, okay. Let me stop playing. What's good, trappers? Welcome in. So what I want to do right now is introduce you to Trappers Anonymous. Trappers Anonymous is a dope community that we have of all like-minded investors. It's for those who are looking for a little more engagement, who want to get questions answered, who want to engage with me, the Trapper. This is my intermediate family, right? I really rock with the Trappers in this community real hard because Monday we have a day called Monday Madness. Tuesday we have Ticker Symbol Tuesday. Wednesday, Wild Out Wednesdays. Thursday, ETF Thursday. Drip Fridays, and Say Something Sundays. It also comes with a weekly class every Sunday, and we do a live book club. So do me a favor, click that link below and join Trappers Anonymous. We're giving it to you for the first 7 days for $1, $1 only. And everything after that is $37 a month, only for the next 30 days. Because if you don't get it now, the price is going up to $47 because we just add value. We want to just add as much value as we can to make you a better trapper, to help you build wealth one share at a time and turn your last name into an asset. Trap with me. Now go kick that link and get out of here.
Dabbling. You're not gonna dabble no more. Let me get serious.
I put bricks in there at a time. Boom,
Right.
boom. And I don't really care what happened.
Right.
I don't really care what happened. And I'm not an advocate for telling nobody to do what I'm saying is like, I see it. And so here's the dope part. If you believe in crypto, you definitely got to believe in blockchain.
Right. It's key. It's key.
You got to believe in blockchain, right? So I actually like the Riot is good.
They moving.
You get the BLOK block. And that's
key. You got Riot, BLOK.
And see, block is actually ETF, and you can get Riot inside of that. Yeah, so it's like an ETF for us. So I just been looking at it, and I'm like, So I just been studying it, man. I've been studying it real hard. I bought this one called Graph. It was crazy. I was with my partner from Hood Estates one night, right? So we was out in Miami a couple weeks ago. And we're sitting at this spot eating. And he said, so we're sitting at the table, and I'm like, bro, yeah, man, I got like $10,000, 15. At this time, I just added 10,000. So I had like $25,000. I got like $25,000, $30,000 in this Bitcoin, man. He was like, have you been studying? I'm like, I've been learning how to research it, learning how to look at it, learning how to look at it. So Bitcoin has this thing called like white sheets, right? It's equivalent to the pink sheets, right?
Yep.
So you just you can look at it, see how much it's worth, see how many coins out there, and it's still against me because you can't never own it. We advocates for ownership, what I'm saying? So he shows me this thing called Graph. And so Graph is a part of technology where if you want to get an app or something like that, tie the crypto into it, whatever, it's like this crazy thing, right? So it was at 62 cents when he told me about it, right? So he's been in it since it was 31 cents, right? And so it's crypto, so I'm not looking at it the same way I look at stocks. I'm like, okay. So he tells me about it, and so we just feeling good that night. I'm like, I don't drink nothing, so I'm just high on life, right?
Right.
So he tells me he got like $20,000 in this thing. He had it at 32 cents, and now he's at 68 cents.
Right.
So I'm like, damn, but that's a bag, like,
right.
Like, that's a good bag. So I'm like, hell with it.
Feeling good. Let's go.
I dropped $10,000 in. I dropped $10,000 into it. No, I'm lying. So he tells me, I said, man, I'm about to put $10,000 on it. He said, no, man, don't get it, man. You tripping, man. Like, You ain't do no research on it.
Right.
I'm like, man, listen, got $10,000 for it.
Right.
No, man, don't do it. I'm like, man, put $10,000. That's crypto, man. Like, we're gonna take the risk. It ain't stocks. Stocks, I go all crazy. I do all my research.
It's speculative.
Speculative. So let's just rock with it. So I take the $10,000. He tell me no. I'm like, all right, cool. Get up in the morning is at 72 cents, right? I'm by myself. I said, I'm gonna put the 10,000 in. Put the 10,000 in there. It's now $2.40.
Dang. $2.40. And he's still in at 30-something cents.
He got in at 30 cents. I got in at 72 cents. It is now $2.40.
So you done almost tripled that thing.
I'm just sitting there like, what is this? I'm just like.
Now you know you're going to have them going crazy with this, right? They're going to go crazy with this when they see this.
I'm just telling people like, I don't know, like I was thinking like 15, 20 years before this crypto thing get crazy, but.
Right.
Maybe 5.
I think it's collapsed considerably to your point. The cycle has.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I'm thinking because I was thinking like, and I've always said that I'm like, man, I can't own it. I'll play with it. I don't really care what happened. I see it being maybe 15, 20 years from now. Yeah, but because they put so much money in the market, it's expedited the process.
And this mainstream integration, to your point, the PayPal, Tesla.
That's what has.
That's really what.
Yeah.
It is, and then JPM, putting together this separate sector on the blockchain or separate business segment. Like, it's like you can't really, when you get those names in the game, you really can't ignore.
It's a game changer. Like for me, once you get JP, MasterCard, PayPal, Square, but here's the thing about that. It's funny because people will accept payments in Bitcoin, right?
Right.
The crazy part is, unlike the dollar, if you buy something for $1, then you need another dollar to add value to it, right? Or that dollar loses value. If you buy something in crypto, essentially, you're overpaying for it. Here's why. If you buy this iPhone for 1 Bitcoin, let's just say it costs you 1 Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is still surging, in like 3 years, if you pay 1 Bitcoin for it, the Bitcoin now, let's say the Bitcoin right now, you pay 1 iPhone, let's say the Bitcoin is 54,000 right now.
Right.
In 3 years, that Bitcoin probably be 100,000. So at that point, you've paid 100,000 for this phone.
Right.
I'm never paying for nothing in crypto. I'm gonna give them that dead ass cash they got.
Right? Like dead.
Have this cash now. I would never pay.
Because I'm giving you this for you to.
It's like buying for something in stocks. Like, I'm gonna buy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Keep going up. Like, no, I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna pay for this house and 10 shares of Apple or something. Yeah.
You're gonna overpay for it. Oh, no.
Right.
Never do that. But man, it's kind of amazing to see. It's like we never get to see the evolution in front of our face.
Right. Now that's big. It's happening right now in front of us.
We never get to see the evolution right in front of our face.
Yeah.
Like the world is like, if the world is literally changing in front of our face. We're watching it change. Right. And the crazy part about it is the pandemic speeded everything up. Like which now makes me think this thing is planned.
Gonna leave that right there.
The thing is planned.
Because the acceleration that this has caused is.
Here's the thing.
Microwave.
You can't. So here's what has to happen. If you think about everything that happens, right? When we think about every time the world evolves, you think about some like colossal shift has to happen, right? Like something like extreme has to happen. That's the only way people can take the shift without feeling messed up, right? So you think about how can you transition to digital payment the world would like it were a year ago? Right? How can you do certain things? How can you see, okay, maybe we can work from home, right? How can you test all these things out if you don't have change? And that change takes 18 months to 2 years, right? So it gotta be a hard reset. Like it gotta be a hard reset.
You're coming. Right? I don't care. You're coming.
Yeah. And when a hard reset happens, like there will be victims. Like people gonna lose out, people gonna, there is victims. And then there's the people that said, oh, we gotta adjust.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, and I made a post about that. I said that evolution can be one of the hardest things, but it's actually the most important thing.
Similar to the Industrial Revolution,
exactly.
We've talked about. Like a lot of people, unfortunately, to this day, there's cities that are still like destroyed in the US as a result of it. To this day.
It was the only thing, it was the only way for them. And so this has totally, we are watching the world change in front of our eyes. And I'm gonna be real with you. Financial literacy it's more important now than ever. It's more important now than ever because this has allowed this allowed everybody to say, I can get on, I can do it, I can invest, whatever the case may be, right? Like everybody can get on. And I think what has that.
There's a path for everyone to be able to move forward in this one. If we have the financial literacy.
And because if you don't have it, you're gonna suffer a hard fate, yo.
Yes.
That's just how I do, man. Today we got a dope show for us, man. Listen, man, I like to open it up, man. Just have
a conversation.
Come on, man. You know what we doing. So today, man, Queen, you got something for us today. What's that?
So we're gonna talk a little bit about stock market moves. Just so everybody can really, really, really digest what's actually happening day to day in the market and not get caught up in the hype, right? We don't want any trappers left behind. No trappers left behind. Like the King Lieutenant Baker said all the time, no trappers behind, right? And I think understanding the market as a whole over a period of time and those moves that it makes and why it makes the moves and ways to identify those moves, that's what we're trapping about today. That's what we're trapping about.
I like market moves. So when we talk about market moves, we talking about fear and greed? Are we talking about pullbacks? Are we talking about sell-offs? We talking about what makes the market move? I like that. So listen, as always, let me get you in position where I can share the screen with you. And you can just work your magic.
All right. So like we said, today's episode is about stock market moves. Although y'all got some extra conversation, great conversation. Y'all go back, Trapper Ties required, go back, rewind that, run it back again. There was a lot of gems in there. I'm gonna rewind it for myself. Okay? I'm just gonna put that out there. But talking about market impacts, right? That's the first thing we have to understand when we're talking about stock market moves, right? Like what actually impacts the market. And once I share these with you, you'll understand when you hear these things on CNBC or Bloomberg or whatever channel you watch or whatever way you intake the news, you'll hear, the market is X right now and points up or down based upon this, right? That's kind of how they projected. Okay, so stimulus talks are causing the market to be flat or up or down or what have you. So you hear that additional piece of information as to why, these analysts or these reporters are saying the market's up or down or flat. And so these are some of those market impacts looking at a high level. So you've got new economic data, right? And that one's an interesting one because COVID has really changed the game on how economic data is impacting the market, where we used to see better impacts up or down across all economic data, with some of those being retail sales, unemployment, non-farm payrolls, those types of things. Those are some of the economic data that's reported throughout the month that sometimes moves the market depending upon what the estimates or the consensus was for that specific report. You've also got new innovations, right? So patents, new industry breakthroughs. Those are some things that all of a sudden, when you hear about it, i.e., COVID, all of a sudden the virus or the vaccine comes out or it moves to another phase of testing and it moved the market, right? Then you have herd mentality. Now, this one's pretty interesting, right? And one of the things I want to highlight here under the herd mentality, and you can really think about it, when one person runs, everybody runs, right? We know how that goes, right? But with that being said, there's a few types of what we would call herd mentality. You've got info-based herding, where everybody's reacting to a piece of news the exact same way. Then you've got reputation-based herding, right? So you get a big whale, like, when they released some information on Buffett a couple weeks ago, right? They said, okay, well, Buffett bought XYZ. And all of a sudden, that reputation-based herding all of a sudden pulls everybody into a specific stock or a specific sector. And you've also got compensation-based herding, where institutions take profit or something like that. So that's information-based herding, compensation-based herding, and reputation-based herding. Then you have something called market sentiment, which we'll talk a little bit about too today. Consensus of the market, sector, industry, or even an individual stock. It's basically how everybody feels about those things or that industry or that market. Of course, you've got earnings season. We talk about it all the time in Trappers Anonymous. I know Trap talks a lot about specific companies when they're reporting earnings. So their EPS and revenue reports based upon what analysts say they should come in at can affect the market, especially if it's a big player in a specific sector or inside of an index like the Dow or the S&P. It can affect the entire market or that one specific index. Company leadership changes, right? The CEO or board changes, scandals, things of that nature can also cause things to happen in the market. Political changes, right? So elections, that's one of the most major things that we've experienced recently, as well as major legislation can also impact the market. And you've heard the conversation around interest rates being basically flat and on the floor pretty much all 2020. Looks like it'll be there all 2021. And that's set by the Fed Reserve. But ultimately, those things affect the market. So these are just some of the main things that can impact the market on a day-to-day basis. So with that being said, we'll take a look at one of the measures of volatility, right? What is the VIX, right? We talk about the VIX. It's put out by the Chicago board. And the first benchmark index, this is how they list it, the first benchmark index to measure the market's expectation of future volatility, right? So not today, but future volatility. How is that going to look 30 days out? The VIX index is based upon options of the S&P 500 index, considered a leading indicator on the broad US market. And then ultimately, the VIX index is recognized as the world's premier gauge of US equity market volatility. So let's see how that breaks down, right? And a little bit later. We've got the fear and greed index from CNN, right? And some of the things that impact the fear, like go into the measurement of the fear and greed index, right? How much fear, how much greed do we have in the market? So you've got the S&P 500 125-day moving average. The VIX is also included in coming up with this calculation, put and call options, junk bond demand. And ultimately, the higher the number on the fear and greed index, the more greed there is in the market. The lower the number, there's more fear in the marketplace. All right, so those are two major things that you can look at. But when we break down volatility specifically, right here, where I want to really, really zoom in, right, is taking a look at this chart, right? It's got a lot of information on it. But what I really want you to see, first and foremost, is that green line across the screen. And that's the cumulative return of the S&P 500 from 1930, basically, all the way to 2017. And if you notice, it's a steady climb upward with very, very small jagged edges or jagged drops here and there. So those are market corrections. Some of those are massive market corrections when they're happening, but as time moves on, those corrections smooth themselves out. right? So just remember, they smooth themselves out over time. So when we look back on the '08 crisis at this point, you see the correction on the chart in '08, and ultimately you see it starting to smooth itself out. And then we'll have a correction on a chart similar to this for COVID, and that'll eventually smooth itself out over time. The second thing that you want to take from this chart is it really lays out on the bars of this particular chart moves that are greater than 2% or less than 2% in any given year. So if you'll notice around 2008, you had almost 75 moves that were in total plus or minus 2%. Why is that important? Because if it's about 75 and you know how many trading days there are in a year, you'll specifically know roughly what you can expect in a volatile year. Back in '08, there weren't more than 75 moves that encompass that, being a few of those days during that the latter part of 2008. So with that being said, this chart is a great illustration of how much the market actually moves day to day. And so understanding this coupled with the S&P 500 and seeing that unless it's a really volatile year like 2020, 2008, even .com was less than 2008, you will notice over the stretch, just like we talked about in how long bear markets last and how long bull markets last, there's not a ton of major moves in the market over time, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you on this particular chart. So what does that equate to? So from 2020 or from 1917 to 2017, there were 2,791 moves that were plus 1% or greater. 791, excuse me. Moves less than 1%, 2,696, right? And so that's on average a plus or minus 1% move every 9 days of trading. You can expect a plus or minus 1% move. So that's like every couple of weeks, basically. A move greater than 2% and a move less than 2% happens roughly about 700 times, has happened roughly about 700 times from basically 1917 on to 2017. So about 1,400 times. That represents a plus or minus 2% move every 30 days on average, trading days. So a little bit over a month, right? 5 trading days a week, 4 weeks in a month. That's a little bit over a month. You'll see a plus or minus 2% move in the market, right? So that plus or minus 2% move, if you're looking at that on a month, just a little bit over a month to month basis, now you can expect and anticipate what you might see in the market consistently versus reacting when you see a 2% move and instead anticipating about every 30 days, I'm going to probably see a 30%, a 2% move plus or minus in the market. That's what you should take from this summary right here, because this is almost 100 years worth of data, and this is what it came to, right? So if you see this, now you know, okay, if the market is roughly going to be around a 1% move up or down on average every 10 days, okay, I expect that. That's what I'm looking forward to. Got it. This is normal.
Right.
When I see the plus or minus 2%, that's about every 30 days.
Okay.
So now that move, every 30 days, I'm going to be like, okay, this is a little bit more, but I know it's coming about every 30 days. Mm-hmm. Again, this is 100 years worth of data, and this is what you end up with.
Whoa, that's major. And I think that helps with the idea of, oh, it's a bloody day today. Market only down 0.5%. Chill out.
Right.
I remember saying it a few times, like, bro, like it's not even down 5%. We're not even in a correction. What are you talking about? We're not putting a trigger on nothing right now. You know, nothing is on sale. Nothing. This is a regular day, yo. Nothing is on sale.
Regular day. If you're getting a 1% plus or minus move every 10 days, roughly, everything else is less than that. To your point, that's not even a big deal. So maybe I'll pay attention when we get to a 1% move.
That's how I be feeling. Like I be like, bro, don't tell me nothing about the stock market until, I mean, let me rephrase that. Don't tell me nothing on sale until I see red for 3-4 days in a row, 5
Right.
days.
So I can string together 1% negative moves for 5 days to get a 5%
Yeah,
drop in the market.
see that thing? That thing ain't doubling down. If it ain't under 10%, man, I'm all right, man. Like,
Right.
let me
And
keep
that's what we want everybody to know.
let me keep adding to this watch list.
Right. And loading the clip, right? I'm gonna keep loading the clip, right? So I wanted to throw up a chart, like a real-time chart of the VIX, right? So what you see here, and I've dropped 2 horizontal lines on it, one for the 40 mark and one for the 20 mark. Everybody has their own interpretation of this index, this volatility index. But for me, I just literally use my eyes, right? So for me, I could immediately see that 40 seemed to be important in 2020, right? Because after the major spike in volatility in March, it settled back down and stayed between 20 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
Barely broke below 20. I think we just are right around 19 and some change right now.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, in 2019, it seemed like it couldn't break above 20 and stay there for a long period of time. And then towards the end of 2018, it was above 20 for the most part in that latter part of the year. So I can visually see that with my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sometimes I think you'll see people try to complicate things, right? And I try to keep it very simple. I can see that with my eyes,
Right.
right? So if I understand what the VIX is, which we just walked through, and then I look at this chart and I can see kind of where it is during these time periods, now all I have to do is go to the S&P and say, okay, well, what was the S&P doing in late 2018?
Woo!
What was the S&P doing in 2019? I know what it did in March when it spiked up really high or really low, right? The S&P dropped, right? The correction in March, and I see this spike in March on this chart. And then what happened the rest of 2020?
Yeah.
Then if I go to the S&P and look at the same information,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've highlighted for you the same red box of the VIX was, trading a little bit higher, and you see a correction. Late 2019, the market dropped off. And then what happened? The entire year of 2019, the VIX for the most part stayed below 20, and the markets consistently over time just climbed its way and created new highs, literally month after month after month.
I
Right?
think that's something people should understand too and realize too is the market goes up way more than it goes down. Right? It goes up it goes up way more than it goes down. This is why long-term investing is so critical to the wealth building foundation.
Right.
Right? I mean, I'm not against nobody trading or none of that, but
Mm.
long-term investing should be a part of your foundation of wealth building because over time your money just gonna grow for you. Like
Right.
it's like having a savings account on steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like you getting, like we just put up some of the numbers that we did, some of the plays we called out.
Yep. Yep.
We put out some of the plays. Let's just list those plays. Let's list some of those plays, right? That we called out, right? So we called out. There's just a few of them, right? Service now, right?
Love it.
127% since the day I called it, which was during the March 23rd thing, like service now.
Yep.
Align Technology, 351% since I called it on Market Mondays. United Rentals,
URI,
291% since we called it. Five Below, 234% since we called it. Chipotle, 147% since we called it. Roku, 410% since we called it. Lululemon, 95% since we called it. You know how long it'll take your bank to give you 410% return? You know how long it'll take your bank to give you 127% return on your money?
generations.
I mean, that's explanatory. So I just want, us to realize this is where we need to be at. And this is why we need to be understanding how to play this game.
200%.
Yeah.
Like, and ultimately, if you understand and can use some other things to figure out, like, so that you don't get too emotional, right, about what's really happening, and understand what's going on underneath, right? And this VIX indicator is one of those, CNN, but there's a multitude of them. Pick the one you like the best, is all I'm saying. But all you have to do is look at that, understand it, and then go to the chart and mark the exact same information. And you see pretty much since the correction, right? We had high volatility on the VIX in March, but after that correction, yet again, after the correction, I'm going to say it again, after the correction, all we've done is steadily climb back up, creating new highs, steadily.
And they'll have bumps in the road along the way. That's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Like,
we keep trapping.
Don't get scared.
Right. So that piece, I hope it helps. And since you brought up a line, let's go ahead and talk from a company spotlight standpoint. Because I don't know if a lot of people, I know you called it out, but I don't know if everybody still really knows a lot about Align Technologies. I don't know if they do. Because it's still a sleeper, which is crazy to me.
This is what people fail to realize with me. I do the research. Like, I don't get on here and be like, hey, talk about the same stocks that the TV talking about.
Correct.
They start talking about it after I done talked about it already.
Right. Got the phone tap.
Nobody talked about Chipotle until a Trap talked about it. You didn't see URI until a Trap talked about it. Roku was mine. Five Below wasn't on it. None of that was on the list till Trap. And so once you see, like, CrowdStrike. You feel me?
The list is long.
Listen. The list is long.
The list is long. I pride myself, and I always have. I think I shared with everyone. I played sports growing up. I pride myself in being coachable.
Woo!
Always prided myself in being coachable. I would rather learn from someone that has done it and made the mistakes so that I don't have to.
Listen, that's how the game goes. Like, that's how we learn. That's how I learn. Like, I study, you master the game by studying the people who've mastered the game already. I don't gotta try to reinvent or recreate the wheel.
What's the point when I can just duplicate it, right? Yeah. The Hondo style.
Add my sauce to it, man. I'm okay. You feel me?
So let's trap on this Align real quick, right? So from a revenue standpoint, the last 5 years, average annual return, plus 23% in revenue, plus 66% EPS. Last 5 years. Earnings are growing, right? Let's just say earnings are growing. Cash, quarter over quarter, has grown 252 million in the middle of a pandemic. They growing their cash.
In the middle of a pandemic.
In the middle of a pandemic. And they have no debt.
Shh. Cut the tape. Cut the tape.
Cut it off. Cut it off.
Cut the tape. Cut the tape.
Just
come on, man.
And because, they lost some patents in 2017. We get it. But now they're taking it international. And the growth international, my gosh, it's basically wide open. And they're just literally just scaling it out across, like, go do your homework on the international growth. All I could do was type it on the slide, not to have this go an hour and a half. So just go do your work on what they're doing from an international growth standpoint.
Smile Direct, who? Stop playing, man.
Stop playing. They moving. They scaling quickly. Price target right now about 700 on the high, 529 at the midpoint, 245 on the low. You got 11 buys, 4 holds, and 1 sell. Current price about 609. Market cap sitting around 48. Plus 91% in 2020 all together, all in with the correction built in. Plus 91% on the stock price. Now let's talk a little bit about the CEO, right? Shouts out to my girl Lala. Man, shouts out. I know she's gonna appreciate this one.
She gotta appreciate it.
She gotta appreciate it. CEO and director Joseph Hogan's been enrolled since 2015.
Dirty Joe, I like him.
Dirty
Call
Former CEO of ABB, which he grew revenues 25% while he was there. He spent 25 years with GE, 8 years as the CEO of GE Healthcare. He moved the business from 7 billion to 16 billion. So what I highlighted here about Mr. Hogan was the revenue growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere he's been, he's growing revenue, doubling 25%. This man is serious about growing revenues, period. Everywhere he's been, that's what he's doing. And lo and behold, he's doing the exact same thing at Align. Y'all can cut the tape off now.
I'm just saying, like, that's, for me, it's one of those things, man. Like, I be wanting people, when I mentioned this company, I think it was like around $200.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 250, something like that. And it was because of those things, because I knew who the background of the CEO. I understood that the business had no debt. Lululemon, no debt. Five Below, no debt. URI, little debt. Y'all don't see the pattern? It's a pattern here.
I was gonna say, everybody want to know the Trapper secret. It's not hard. It's not hard.
And that's what I try to tell people often. Like, it's not even that there's a secret sauce to it. It's just that I'm willing to do the research.
Right.
And I have the criteria that I have the criteria for. Right. So everybody has a different
approach.
Everybody has something different.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has a different thing that they go for.
Yep.
This is my thing. Like, low data, good CEO.
Yep.
Multiple patents. Right? Growth in sales, revenue, profit. Expanding. Remember, go back to the rules. Can the business expand without taking on more debt or selling off any assets?
That's it.
Listen, I give it out. We give it out.
It's out there. And ultimately, that part, which is what I enjoy about not spending too much time on something that doesn't make sense, right? When you think about rules, or I don't fully understand. Mm-hmm. But these quick checkpoints don't take long to figure out. To then be able to really do your deep dive once you have something that meets that criteria. And then that's when you get in the lab and cook it up, right? Is when you got that company that checks those boxes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, once they start checking them boxes, it's time for me to go crazy.
Right.
Like, once they start checking them boxes, I'm like, yo, like, what we doing here?
Right, you get excited. It's like, okay, let's go. Yeah. That's exactly the sensation you get once you check the rules. You check these couple metrics. Oh, you like, okay, you want to shut the phone off.
Yeah, like, oh, I found it. And I that's what I'm waiting for. I love those type of situations, man. So I think they should learn. Everybody should learn a lot from this one.
Yes.
Just because I think that's important. Just understanding how the market moves, understanding. So, and I say this to people all the time, right? I say that the one thing we cannot teach you is emotional fortitude. Mm-hmm. So people often like to say, man, take emotion out of the game. Like, we're human beings, we got emotions. My thing is always put them in check, right? Like, let's put them in check. One of the ways that we can learn this game is understanding this process how the market moves. Let's get under the hood and see how this big machine operates.
Yes.
All right. Once we can see, this is the motor to the machine. This is how the machine. So the motor to the market is the emotion. People buying, people selling, fear, greed, VIX, right? The things that this is the motor, right? The fuel is the money we pump in it. The motor is the fear and the greed. So once we understand, oh, this is what moves this thing, emotions. All right, let me put my emotions on hold. So now this is the emotional indicators. We're looking at the fear and greed. We're looking at the VIX. You know, we're looking at those moving averages. Like we start to understand, like this is what people are willing to pay for. This is what people are paying for. Once we can tap into those things, man, we tap into something.
Because then you can patiently sit there and march when Trap's saying align, you or I. You can be like, folks are fear. When they panic, we eat.
They panic, we eat.
It's the play.
We make more money in a drought.
You heard your boy Mr. Cuban say it. Those who had the most money on the sideline and had the patience to wait.
Patience will always be rewarded in this game.
Yes.
Patience will always be rewarded in this game. This game right here, it's a patience man's game. Just like chess. Chess is a patient man or woman's game. Yep. Investing is a patient man or woman's game. Hands down. Hands down. Man, I just want to tell you, man, thank you for this, Queen. I feel like every time I hear you, I just be like, they lucky, right? We blessed. Like, we blessed because we get to get Wild Out Wednesdays. We get to get so much into the Trappers Anonymous group. We blessed. But for the people who come in to re-up Tuesdays, they lucky. They ain't blessed. They lucky. This is between lucky and blessed. Right? They lucky. They lucky.
Preach.
They lucky. We, the family and Trappers Anonymous, we blessed, man. So I want to just take 1 minute, man. Anybody who want to join Trappers Anonymous, it's a great tool. It's a great community. We have Monday Madness. I'm gonna shout out to my brothers from Earn Your Leisure because I'm about to say Market Mondays.
Right.
They the late show. We come on early, right? So we got Monday Madness. We got Ticker Symbol Tuesday. We got Wild Out Wednesday, which is when you get Jamila when she just does her thing. We get ETF Thursdays, Drip Fridays. Saturdays is a little freestyle day, and Sundays is a double hitter. We get Say Something Sundays with the beautiful Queen Lala. She does her thing, and then we have the Live from the Kitchen. And I think Trappin' Ass Travis comes out on Saturdays.
He come out on Friday. Man, I tell you, waiting, be like, man, Baker, when you about to drop that?
Travis be crazy. Also, I'm about to add something else to that. Where I put money in. I'm putting $100,000 between $100,000 and $150,000 in a dividend portfolio, right? And I am going to not expose, but just show the group, the community, my dividend investing strategies. And how I plan. My goal is to get 6 figures a year from dividend. So I'll be actively adding money to that account. Every week I'll be showing, hey, I'm putting $1,000 in. I'm putting $2,000 into this account every week. I'm buying businesses, once I do the research and see how I want to buy these businesses, giving the people what I'm expecting. Even I'm going to show how I want to get a dividend every month. So we go do a lot in there. So, and that's all going to be in Trappers Anonymous. And we got a surprise fund. We moved to our own platform.
Yes, excited. It's looking amazing. I'm not going to say too much, but it's
Don't say too much.
I ain't going to say too much. They're gonna be turned up.
Okay, man. So definitely, you want to close us out with anything, Queen?
I just say, you guys got the sauce. If y'all wanted the secret Trapper sauce, it's all embedded in this video from the beginning to the end. Trapper tie is required. Man,
definitely want to tell everybody, man. We appreciate y'all. Do me one favor, man. Like and subscribe to this video, man. And after you like and subscribe to the video, I want you to comment. Tell us what you think. Also, I'm going to just put it out there. If you want us to break anything down, anything that you're having any problems with, say that in the comments below. That's what we for. We all about educating. Free education, man. That's what we want to do. That's what YouTube is about for us, man. It's about giving free education out to those who support us and support this channel. So I want to tell my beautiful queen, I will see you next week, queen. I'm lying. I'm gonna see you tomorrow, right? In the group. And they will see you next week. So I want to tell everybody, man, y'all have a blessed day. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, man. Good night.